So I've shared about, I've come out to, I guess, a lot of people in the last several months, or several months ago, I should say. And so now I've had kind of a lot of conversations with people about my gender identity and gender expression and everything and how I feel. And people have questions. When you come out to people, they have questions. Okay, they've known you as somebody else for a long time, and now you're sharing with them you're different. So you're coming out to them. And people had a lot of questions. And so you know what? One thing that I've kind of learned, honestly, from those conversations, if there's one thing I would do differently, honestly, it's when you're explaining your gender identity to people, when you're telling them you're transgender, especially if that's what you're coming out as, is somewhere on the trans spectrum, you know what? My advice is keep it simple. I mean, I know we get really deep into, our gender identities and what it means and how we feel and all these things, here on this channel and probably on a lot of other ones too. But you know what? When you're explaining to somebody that you're transgender, keep it simple. Okay, I know that it's a lot more complex than, people always want to know, so do you think of yourself as a woman? Do you feel like you're a woman? And for a lot of people, then the answer is as easy as yes. But you know what? I really recommend that you just say yes. Don't get too far into it. If you kind of feel like more of a gender fluid, bi-gender person or whatever, you know what? However you explain it to them, I recommend you keep it really simple. Okay, it's okay to just say, yeah, I feel like a girl. That's how I feel. And whatever your explanations are, just, keep them all really simple. Because if you start getting into trying to get into it really deeply, you know what? What I've learned that these feelings we have, it's just not feelings that I guess you can say outsiders or normal people or whatever you want to call it, cisgender people, they just aren't feelings that they can relate to. Okay? And I think trying to get too far into it could give them the wrong impression that, you're not transgender. Okay? Especially if you're not living full time as a woman. It could give them the impression that you're not transgender, that there's something else going on or whatever. So my recommendation is when you're coming out to people and they start asking questions about your feelings, keep it simple. Okay? So otherwise, they could walk away from that conversation, without a clear understanding that you're transgender. Okay, that's what you were saying. Otherwise, they might hear you saying that you're just a cross-dresser or, or who knows what. Anyway, that's just my opinion.